AITA for dating a former friend's ex. Me and John were both kinda close at school in ninth grade when he convinced me to come for his church game night, where there'd be a ton of chicks and free food. Being hormonal and desperate as heck, I said yes. Turned out it was a prayer meeting for what I still to this day believe to be a cult, and said that he brought me here to join his church 'cause God asked him to. It threw me off and I never trusted him since, and proactively tried to distance myself from him. His mom also approached my mom outside the church when they came to pick us up to try and convince her to send me here. Eventually I realized from his attitude in the shared extracurriculars that he was basically a lazy person who acted selfishly and didn't talk to people unless he needed a favor done. We also had blown-out arguments after religion classes in regards to topics like other religions are going to hell, with me now realizing I am a bit of atheist and him being a proclaimed conservative. When COVID hit, I ended up playing a very niche video game with my friends, and a mutual friend invited him to play. Due to him being basically addicted to the game, more than 10 hours played a day, whenever I was online so was he, so we played together majority of the time. He later invited his ex to play with us. He had broken up with her a couple of months prior due to the not clicking, and she was a nice person and we immediately hit it off talking about of all the nerdiest things, comics, games and anime. Later on he told us that he regretted dating her, and how he should have dated one of her friends, and told us in gruesome detail all the stuff they did, even though no one wanted to know. When he later realized we were getting close, he told me in front of some of our mutuals that she was manipulative and that I was his best friend, so I shouldn't talk to her. I laughed out loud, but when I realized he was serious I didn't correct him and said she'd now become a good friend, 2 months of like constant talking later, and that was all. I eventually stopped playing due to upcoming exams, but I didn't stop talking to Claire, his ex. We became really close friends for like 5 to 6 months and she later confessed that she liked me. I asked her for a few days to reply cause, although I didn't really care about what John thought, I didn't want to be the type of guy who dated a friend's ex. So I talked to some of my friends and a couple of mine and John's mutual friends, and they all agreed if I really did like her I should go for it. So after a couple of days of back and forth I realized I did like her and we started dating. John stopped coming to school long before any of this and I couldn't be bothered to message him and tell him, because he is still my girlfriend's ex. He later found out through social media and was apparently okay with it and never reached out to me. I now have a party got invited to with Claire, coincidentally at our 4-month anniversary, and John is also invited. In order to prevent Claire from being a part of unnecessary awkward situation I sent him a message telling him about the situation. When he later called me he said that I'm with Claire because I really wanted to experience the same NFSW things he explained to us, and said that, as his best friend, I shouldn't have done this. I then set the record straight by saying we were never that close and I didn't really care about all his opinion on things. I do not regret anything I did cause they were all calculated risks and things that I'd already come to terms with. So am I the eye-hole? I now have a party got invited to with Claire, coincidentally at our 4-month anniversary, and John is also invited. In order to prevent Claire from being a part of unnecessary awkward situation I sent him a message telling him about the situation. When he later called me he said that I'm with Claire because I really wanted to experience the same NFSW things he explained to us, and said that, as his best friend, I shouldn't have done this. I then set the record straight by saying we were never that close and I didn't really care about all his opinion on things. I do not regret anything I did cause they were all calculated risks and things that I'd already come to terms with. So am I the eye-hole?